everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on the Movies. And today we are doing the second movie in our Single Fathers Week movie.
Good job, Safi. Thanks for picking single fathers as a topic, because we had to watch this movie.
And the movie that we watched,
Thanks a lot, was...
which I was about to die from, was Interstellar. A more modern movie. Wasn't a horror movie. It wasn't a Lifetime movie.
It was a horror movie to sit through it, to sit through the whole 3 hours.
It was directed by Christopher Nolan.
Did he really direct it? Because I feel like if anyone tried to direct this movie, they would literally fall asleep in their director's chair. And then the actors, like Matthew McConaughey, would have to come over and wake him up and be like, "Hey, Christopher Nolan, you gotta get up or else I'm gonna start shooting some Lincoln commercials in here."
You have to speak with the Texas accent to do that.
How about you do Anne Hathaway?
I don't know what to do with Anne Hathaway. I wasn't even sure that was her for a while. She's dyed her hair like jet black. I know she had dark hair to begin with, but this is really dark.
You like that, don't you, Sophie?
And she chopped her hair all off, but she had a nice head of hair, which looked nice, and she chopped it all off, but I know she's a mother. I don't know how many kids she has now, but, I could see that, being busy with a little kid, how she'd want to have
It's
short.
surprising that she wasn't in Halloween 2018 with the way that she looked. You know what I mean, Safi?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, okay.
So,
Whatever.
Safi, lead the charge. I mean, you're about to fall asleep. Come on. Lead the charge.
It was a very boring movie. It was way too long. Basically, life on planet Earth is really bad. They're having dust storms like the Dust Bowl, and before when we had those actual things, it's because they did not do crop rotation, which means like every year they grew corn or every year they grew cotton, took all the nutrients out of the soil. And what you have to do to cure that is to do different crops every year. You alternate. And there's probably a few other things that you have to do too.
I guess they did alternate, and then each plant kept on dying off. Like they said that okra was gone, and all those other ones, they all died off, and the only one that was left was corn, which was surprising that, that there weren't any children of the corn that came out.
So I guess they kind of got more afraid and worried about their people on Earth, so that they were starting to narrow mind everything down, education, everything, because they're worried about their survival and what are we going to eat. And only a select few could go to the university, and then everybody else had to be a farmer to save the planet. Well, then behind the scenes, NASA has been practically shut down, but they're still doing secret projects, and
their main secret project is one that doesn't even matter, and they don't even need to do, apparently.
Well,
remember?
I can't remember exactly how it was put, but Michael Caine is like the proponent and the leader of this research, but basically their premise is, and I didn't write it down exactly, but they're not rushing to save the planet, they're rushing to leave the planet so they can go somewhere else and live somewhere else. So they have to find somewhere habitable for everybody to live. And so so Matthew McConaughey, who is the single father in the story, his wife died of some kind of illness.
She died of boredom from watching this movie be made. She died of boredom.
She has 2 kids. One's He's older.
Both of them are so bored that they have to be entertained by things like watching books fall off their bedroom shelves.
And they have a grandpa.
And he's so bored that he's got to sit in a rocking chair on the porch all the time, drinking beer.
I think that actor has passed away, too.
No, Safi. No? John Lithgow has not passed away.
I'm thinking about somebody else. John Lithgow.
Would you think he was Charles Grodin?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you were going to say. I was like, what the fuck?
Anyway, well, he was in it. He played the grandpa. And
just everyone's bored.
They were lucky that he was there because there was nobody else left to take care of the kids.
Yeah, and Matthew McConaughey, he was so intent on going on this mission that he literally didn't even care. Like, he was like, oh yeah, I got kids, who cares? This is the fate of the world. And if there's no world left, then I won't be able to sell any Lincolns. And I won't be able to have a YouTube channel. I won't be able to run for governor. There's not going to be any world left. And so he's got to go to space with Brand Hathaway, a.k.a. like, I don't know what you should call her.
Her
like
name's Anne Hathaway. And then there's
Anne Hathaway. Let's see.
The Boston guy.
What could you like fucking Vanilla Wafer Hathaway, and then there's this guy with the beard, and then there's a black guy named like Bromlin or what was his name?
I don't know.
Bronson. Like I can't remember. I can't remember like any of the names except for Cooper, because at one point I felt like there was like a Twin Peaks reference, because at one point someone says like see you on the other side, Coop. And I felt like that was a reference to Twin Peaks when I think they say that in Twin Peaks seasons 1 or 2. So I thought that was weird. And that what was the daughter is Murph, which I only remember because of like a YouTube channel that I used to watch.
Well, she was named after Murphy's Law or something. They had a big thing about that at the beginning. That is Matthew McConaughey's
You're telling me
daughter.
that Matthew McConaughey was so retarded that he named his daughter after Murphy's Law?
That's what they said.
Oh my God.
They said he and her mother were okay with that.
Only in a Christopher Nolan movie would that happen, Safi. Only in one of his movies. I mean, this movie, they go to space, and let's just...
All the things that happen, I mean... I could hardly understand what was going on.
Well, you sometimes you weren't really paying attention.
It was just like gobbledygook. I'm just really, and I mean, there was just so much. It was very complicated, and there was just so much they had to do, because they weren't just going to the moon or something, Marco. They were going to another solar system, where when you go there, and they'd already set up places in the other solar system, several, where there were different Americans there. And the place they ended up spending, I'd say at least half the movie,
was this ice planet. And so let's move along, Sophie, because...
Okay, well, anyway...
there's too much.
There's too much. It's about either he's single parent, should he go? Because what happens is every year... every day that they're gone is 7 years at home.
No, that's only on that planet, Safi.
Right, but that's where they spent most of the movie.
No, that was the first planet. The second planet wasn't like that.
Oh, okay.
God, Safi, keep up, Safi.
Oh, I can't. I just
take notes. Get out your notebook and pencil and pay attention. This is a serious class.
Oh,
this is Christopher Nolan's classroom of filmmaking.
Marco was
He's
being
gonna
facetious,
instruct you, and he will keep you after school in detention and force you to watch his worst movie, which is this movie. He will force you to rewatch it over and over again while he gives you... What do you think Christopher Nolan snacks on when he watches a movie? Do you think he snacks on, like, normal food? Or
cheese popcorn! How about that?
No, he is too pretentious to snack on cheese popcorn. He gets some fucking dried fruit snacks and, like, some pieces of, dry banana and dry strawberries, and he like munches down on them while he drinks some sort of a popcorn smoothie made by his private chef. Like, seriously, this movie is so confusing, and it's just so full. Like, there comes a point where you're watching a movie and you just get overloaded with information to the point of where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna doze off and go to sleep now because I just really don't care. And I mean, let's Safi, that was for you because you just fell asleep.
Yeah, I know. It's just time of the day when I'm sleepy.
Well, let's just try to say some nice things about the film so that people can shut up.
I don't know what to say.
Matthew McConaughey. Everyone gave a great performance. Like, there wasn't really any bad acting.
No, they just didn't have much acting at all. There just wasn't much going on.
It was just all plot.
It was all plot. Buttons.
Yeah.
Turning on and off buttons, and
they were all
trying
robots.
To figure out how to, and they have the weird robot.
And the robot looks so stupid. I mean, you people, and that wasn't you. But you people complain about the robot in Rocky IV looking cheesy. Wow. Look at this robot. It looks like a stack of Tetris blocks.
Yes, it does. I never even thought about that. That looked familiar.
Yeah, Tetris.
I used to play that a lot.
That's Christopher Nolan's favorite game when he's playing it. No, it's not. I'm joking.
Oh,
Sophie.
well, you never know.
He's got to play a game more pretentious than that. He plays like a Minesweep and shit like that. Minesweep.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
That's the kind of thing that he would play. He plays chess. He carries around a chessboard with him, and the chess pieces are shaped like his favorite actors. He's got an Anne Hathaway playing a pawn. He's got a Matthew McConaughey as his bishop, and he's got like a Christian Bale as his rook. And he moves them. He plays with people. He just finds people on the street and says, "Hey, bloke, you want to play some chess, mate, and have some crumpets that are made out of balloons?" Like at that restaurant where they smash things on the table. They have
in Chicago.
They have some balloons that you can eat.
Oh yeah. Gross.
But the acting was good. It's just nobody really had that much great moments, like that many great moments
not at all.
to shine. Like Anne Hathaway, I hate her. I really hate her with a passion. Because she's such a but the whole movie, it's like, really? Like, this is the love interest? Like, ugh. Like,
I didn't even think they were. Because she acted like that with every man.
They acted like that at the end, though. Like, at the end, it's like, Matthew McConaughey is going to go to her planet because that's the most important thing. He's got to go habitate that planet with her. And it's like, oh, no thanks.
So anyway, while he's out in space, and right before he leaves, they've been getting these weird messages in her bedroom.
Yeah.
And it has to do with the library books and binary numbers or something. And don't ask me about, because that's something I don't even know what that's about. But they're like bars and spaces.
The movie was
bars and skinny bars.
And the movie was very well made. It was very well made. Adjust glasses for maximum snobbishness. It was very well made. And the music was really good, but the music really didn't fit the movie at all. Like, the music felt like a horror movie type of music. It felt like a Castlevania movie.
I don't know.
Like, couldn't you imagine that playing at, like, Castlevania?
It played a certain way over and over.
Yeah, it was also somewhat repetitive, which isn't
called over and over.
Yeah, isn't surprising. There were some good parts, I guess, but just the whole movie just did not really make much sense, and it didn't stick together. Like, it was so... It's like you have this first part on Earth. That was its own movie. Then you have a part up here. Then you have a part here and here and here. It really didn't feel together. And I think maybe that was on purpose for the message or something. Like, I don't know what symbolism. What did that symbolize, Safi? What did this whole movie symbolize? To me, I feel like the movie was just the message. Like, there was some message about time, but to me, the whole movie was like a waste of time. And it was like the message was that you're an idiot because you wasted your time watching this movie.
I don't know. It just went on and on and on and on. The only, like, I would call it the most interesting part, except for some reason, before and after, during the movie, Matthew McConaughey could communicate with his daughter by using that binary system, by using the bookshelves, the books on the bookshelves, and making bars out of them, skinny bars, fat bars, that for the binary system. And
so you thought that was the best part?
No.
Well, get to the best part, Sophie.
I guess the best part was that Matt Damon, who
really
tried to kill.
Because then that's when something actually happened. When he's explaining, the whole mission was a sham. And it was all trick. It was all a ploy. And I'm a bad guy now. And I'm fat Matt Damon. I mean, did you see how fat he was, Safi? He looked like he got fat off of eating, off of eating the planet. Like, he would go outside and he'd scoop up some ice and he'd make like a snow cone for himself. And he'd do that all day. And he did that, and he got really fat off of those planet snow cones. And, maybe they should have done that instead of whining and complaining about how habitable the planet was.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have had some snow cones and shut up. Because this movie, like, I know that I'm not being that serious. Well, it's really just because the movie was so dull.
I don't know what the purpose of the movie was. The purpose of the movie was to show what astronauts would have to do in order to find a new place to live. Plus, if they found a place to live, they have to build everything there, and then they have to find a way to transport. They did talk about these issues. Transport the people from the Earth to the the planet, whatever planet that would be, not necessarily the planets that you are regularly familiar with.
In that plan, they should definitely include a part where they let all of certain people off, like Kim Kardashian, the leader of Amazon, all those idiot people. Have them be like in the special rich people spaceship box, and then have like a button that presses and it like opens up the box and lets them float into space and die. That'd be pretty funny. That's an important part of the plan, because we don't want like the leader of Amazon on this new planet. We don't want him there.
No,
we want him to die.
The thing about that is they're all very, very wealthy. They own almost all the wealth in the United States and in most of the world.
So
they can do whatever they want. They can go to space any day of the week because they have money to pay for it. Nobody else can.
No, a part of the plan should be to let them float into outer space so that we can go, bye-bye, Kim Kardashian.
Well, whatever. We don't need to talk about that. So anyway.
Why?
The thing is,
it's fun.
I guess the point of it, if you want to talk about a single father, is right before he leaves to go do this mission, because they've asked him, and it's very important, they're trying to save the planet, but not really save it, but just make it habitable enough in order to leave the planet to go live somewhere else. He said that. Michael Caine, who was in charge of everything. And so the point is that he was the single parent because his wife had an illness and she died. So should he leave his son and daughter, who are in their formative years, and I don't know if formative refers to your teenage years, but they're pretty important. And
well, it's funny because she literally tells him to stay.
Because she gets these messages in this binary code, and she's extremely smart, and she figured it out. And she says, it's telling me, and they call it a ghost. They don't know what's setting up the books to make them make this binary
Because at
code.
one point they said some bullshit about, like, us adults are the ghosts of your future or something. Like, they said something like that, and it's like, oh, okay, so that's the message.
So, should he go on this mission, or should he stay home and stay and be this parent? And he says he has to leave right now, because they just, for some reason, he discovered this. It told him to go there. He got these coordinates. They followed the coordinates. They ended up there. And he was going to be, because he's done it before, he's been a pilot, special pilot. And so it's either, even if they didn't find him and he didn't show up there, they were going to just go anyway and send somebody else to be the pilot. Well, he wanted to do it. And so, should he go or should he not go? And so he was saying goodbye, everybody, because he had to go immediately. And the little girl, well, she's, older.
The little girl?
Probably 13 or 12 or something. She
God,
said,
Safi.
she looked up at the bookcase, and there was this binary message to her.
This is such a long way of just saying that,
I know, but
someone
it said
said
not to
stay.
go. It said to stay.
It was such a long explanation.
And she told him. She said, don't go.
And then he's like, who cares? I want to go...
save the world.
I want to go save the world and be trapped with bland Hathaway in a spaceship and with a bearded guy. And, the big problem with this movie for me is that, I think it would have been cool to see them go to a planet and have to habitate a planet and, like, to build a new society on a different planet. I think that would have been cool to see that, and to see, like, how it would be kind of like Lord of the Flies with the different astronauts. I think that would have been better, because the movie was just so... It was so built on all the characters being stupid. Like, every single second there's a character and they're doing something stupid, or they're saying something stupid. In fact, I think the only... no, the robot's stupid too. Because the robot is like, I need to have my honesty at 90% so that we can have a twist later on in the movie that I could have told you that this was all a sham. And it's like, fuck off, robot.
And again to tell you, the robot looks like a cross between a Tetris
Safi.
Design of, blocks and a cell phone. That's what I was reminded. It was a giant,
really
a giant cell phone.
Ugh.
And so anyway, that was really, as far as single fatherhood. And then by the time he gets back, they're old. His kids are old. The grandpa died 1 million years ago, and he hasn't aged at all.
I thought that was kind of a cool idea, in a way, maybe for like a different movie of someone returning.
That's it. So basically, this thing about the single fatherhood, really was not. He was not doing anything fatherly.
He was shitty.
Right, and because what was going to happen is the grandpa was going to take care of these teenagers.
In fact...
And then he would die, you know that, because he's old. And I told you, at least one of the places where they were, that every... what was it?
That was one planet, Safi.
I
that
don't
was the
care.
First
They were
planet.
there for a while.
They were there for like 10 minutes, and then they're like, oh shit, it's been decades. Can you believe how scary time is? Dun dun dun! Time! Oh shit, time is scary?
Okay, well, anyway, there's just nothing much there about anything about fatherhood, except that...
Well, that's not the point of reviewing it.
Fatherhood wasn't what he was interested in. He wanted to save the world.
That's not the point of the reviewing it. We're just reviewing a movie that happens to have a single father in it.
I think it was just too long. I think it needed a lot more editing.
Don't you agree with me, though?
Happening.
Don't you agree that all the characters were stupid? Like, and the whole movie was just built on that character makes a stupid decision. That character makes a stupid decision.
I don't understand.
Like the whole movie.
Had a plan. And so if they deviated from the plan, unless it wasn't going to work in reality, because, it's like academia sometimes. Academia is an unreal world. You make these plans, but they have no basis in reality. I mean, I know for a fact we had all these plans for our research when we were in Africa, and you have all the plans in the world, but when you're working actually there and you have to worry about, maybe being arrested, getting sick, thieves, a million other things, well, things don't work out. So, I mean, that's what they would do. So,
the whole movie.
If they just didn't feel like following the plan, that's what it seemed like to me, that they just wanted to make up something else as they went along.
Have more drama.
Yeah, because there was nothing going on, and they had to do it to create drama in order to make a movie before the whole audience would fall asleep.
Yeah, fell asleep.
So anyway,
I just thought it was really unfortunate that it doesn't seem like there's that many movies like this where people go to space and do something. Like I can't really think of that many that are good or that I've heard of that might be good. I haven't seen. So it was a shame that this was bad, because I thought it could be good. Like, obviously it could have been good. Maybe with a better writer.
I don't know. But anyway, I think we should give it our review, our food review.
Should we, Sophie? I don't know. It's just the whole movie was boring. It was bland. It all felt so contrived and so manipulated. Just everything, the whole film, and it really felt like a pretentious art type of movie too. And the fact that, like, people say this is like one of the best movies of all time, like, what are you, like what are you, getting your master's degree and you think that this is the best movie? Like, this is not a movie for, normal people. Like, this is a very, it thinks so highly of itself that it literally has to stop the movie's plot and lecture you about science and physics and science and space stuff. It's like the movie just constantly stops and they'll have a character like, this is how this works. We can't, and the planet, and it's like, ugh, just do a movie. Just make a movie. So, Safi, do you agree with that? And Jessica Chastain was really bland too. I mean, God, she's like a vanilla, like why is everyone in Christopher Nolan's movies so vanilla? They're just so vanilla and boring and like, ugh, these are some weird people. Like, just imagine, like, you look at their Facebook accounts and they don't have any pictures or anything. They're just these blank profiles that says, like, hi, I am Dr. Bland, and I am a person. Hello, Marco. Would you like to do a poke war? That's these characters, Safi.
Okay, well...
You rate it now. Rate it in terms of food.
I'll just give it vanilla ice cream.
Oh, shit.
But I had already thought about before you brought that he's so vanilla. She's so vanilla. But for me, vanilla ice cream now, I can't stand it. And it doesn't matter what you put in it. You could put chocolate chips. You could put, like, what Heath bars are.
What Heath bars are? They're Heath bars.
Yeah, but they're the candy that's inside.
Oh, toffee?
Yeah. And nuts. And you can put all this stuff in it. It doesn't matter. It's kind of like you might have a whole cup of vanilla ice cream, and then you have a stray nut here.
You could put Anne Hathaway in it.
And you have a piece of toffee in it, a little piece, barely registering. You might have a strawberry in there, like a piece of it, not a whole strawberry, not even a half. And that's what this movie was to me. And I can't even eat vanilla ice cream anymore.
And you ate vanilla ice cream for 3 hours, Safi, because this movie was 3 hours.
Yeah.
Well, I would rate it. Now remember, everyone, this is a Michael Caine movie, so it has a very special exception to this channel.
That's right, he was in it.
Yeah.
But not for a
very
big
special
part of the time, but he
because
did a good job.
Every Michael Caine movie, Michael Caine, spoiler alert, in the 70s, he rejected being in the greatest Alfred Hitchcock movie of all time, Frenzy. And since he was too good to be in Frenzy, I rate every movie of his in a measurement of how good it is compared to Frenzy. Is it better than Frenzy? Yes or no?
No.
No way. Not even light years. It's light years away from being as good as Frenzy was. So.
How about The Man Who Would Be King?
What?
How would you rate that one?
I don't know what you're The Man Who Would Be King?
Yes, Michael Caine is in there as humongous part. Well, I want you to watch that movie.
The Man Who Would Be King?
Everybody, listen up.
Oh, fuck.
I'm telling Marco that he should watch The Man Who Would Be King. And so, if any are you familiar with that, let him know.
How about
don't tell him what it's about. It has Michael Caine in it.
Are you
it's
sure?
Really good.
You think it's better than Frenzy? Is that what you're saying?
Oh. But I do like Alfred Hitchcock.
And you do like Frenzy, especially the scene.
I don't like it as much as you do.
I don't think
it's a lot more. I would say it's a lot more vivid.
It's not the best movie in the world, but it's just my favorite of his because it feels like the most pure that Alfred Hitchcock ever got, because he got to explore violence, sexuality, and he had humor in it. Just everything that he's known for, he got to have in it. And so I think that's why it's so good. It's like a perfect mixture of Hitchcockisms. So I guess I'll have to watch The Man Who Would Be King. I don't know what the fuck that is. I just got through watching another Michael Caine movie this year, Bestsellers. No thanks. That's going to be torture for sure. But our next movie in Single Fathers Week will be what, Safi?
I don't know.
Big Daddy!
Oh, boy.
With Adam Sandler. And I can already tell you, that movie's way better than this, Interstellar.
I bet it is.
Oops, sorry. Am I not supposed to say that? Because it's a Christopher Nolan movie, and you're gonna get offended about your poor little Christopher Nolan movie?
Okay.
Okay.
So, anyway, please press the like button if you like this video.
Comment.
And have us subscribe if you would like. We would really appreciate it.
Yeah, write some paragraphs about why this movie is good, because Safi can read them all and write a homework assignment about them.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Do a book report.
If you have any comments about this movie, if you saw it, what you thought about it, and if you have any comments about The Man Who Would Be King, if you are familiar with that movie. And
you're just making up movies, Safi.
No, I'm
You're
not.
just joking.
No, I've seen it several times, actually.
Oh, I bet you have.
Not lately, but in the past. And goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.